Hello everyone. The focus of today's video lesson, is the membership fees account of a club, right? A club here is a non-profit organization. So yeah, Caleb, just as an example, has started a fishing club to serve the community. It's an amateur club and it's not in existence to make a profit. So a club is there to serve the community. We're not talking about a professional football club or professional club. We're talking about an amateur club that's not in existence to make a profit.
Get out!
Let's see. I didn't know that was on there, but let's carry on. I'm briefly going to have a look at this because what I want to focus on is the membership fees account. But just some terminology. An entrance fee is a fee that you pay once off when you join a club. The membership fees is what you pay on a monthly basis. The statement of receipts and payments is a document where they record cash receipts and cash payments. A statement of income and expenditure is similar to an income statement of a sole proprietor, but this is a club, so they call it a statement of income and expenditure. In the general ledger, there's an income and expenditure account, very much like a profit and loss account in a sole trader. In a club or a non-profit organization, we talk about a surplus or a deficit, which is basically a profit or a loss. But because we're dealing with a different form of ownership, we are talking about a surplus or a deficit. The accumulated funds account, if there is any surplus at the end of the year, this money, the surplus, is not paid to shareholders. It is kept in a reserve. Let's call it a reserve fund. We call it accumulated funds for maybe some projects that are going to happen at the club. So let's move on. Now, like I said, the focus of this lesson is the membership fees account, and we want to prepare you for quiz 2, the NMNU students. So these are the transactions that go into the membership fees account. Number 1, when membership fees are received, membership fees is income to the club. Okay, irrespective of the year received, we must debit bank and we must credit the membership fees account. So when we receive membership fees, we debit bank, but more importantly, we credit membership fees, increasing income. When it is discovered, number 2, that members paid membership fees in advance, so what they're doing in the current year, they are paying for their membership. Let's say we're in 2024, some members decide that they're going to pay in 2024 their 2025 membership up front. That is income received in advance. It's not income earned in the current year, so we need to debit membership fees and credit income received in advance, because the membership fees must fairly reflect the income for the current year. So we don't want income received in advance, even though we have received it and we've recorded it in the membership fees account. We must do an adjustment to fairly reflect the actual income earned in the current period. So if some members pay in advance, it's going to be income received in advance. So that's another transaction that goes into the membership fees account. Let's move on. Now, some members that were in arrears at the start of the year from the previous year, so there was money owing from the previous year, accrued income, some of those members are going to end up bad debts. And the entry to write off members who were owing us money in arrears in the current year is we will debit bad debts and we will credit the membership fees account. Now, as I mentioned in class, it's quite strange that we credit the membership fees account when there's a bad debt, but I'm going to show you that is going to cancel out the accrued income entry in the membership fees account. That will make more sense when I get there. But if there's a bad debt, if some members are never going to pay us, we debit bad debts and we credit membership fees. When it is found that members still owe fees for the current year, we've earned the income but we have not received the money, we're going to debit accrued income, increase in assets, and we're going to credit membership fees because we've earned that money but not yet received it. So we need to show, according to the matching principle, the income that we've earned even though we haven't received it. So we debit accrued income and we credit membership fees. Now there's a closing entry to make membership fees or to take membership fees to the income and expenditure account, which is very similar to the profit and loss account in the sole proprietor. All income and expenses in the club are closed off to an account which will calculate whether we made a surplus or a deficit. So membership fees is income to the club. It's closed off to the income and expenditure account. And in order to do that, we will debit the membership fees account and credit the income and expenditure account. On the last day of the financial year, reverse the accrued income and the income received in advance. Okay, I said on the last day. On the first day of the current financial year, we must reverse the accrued income and the income received in advance. Those were adjustments that we made last year on the last day of the financial year in order to truly reflect the income of membership fees for that year. But when we start the new year, the adjustments from the previous year need to be reversed because they relate to the year that we are now in. As I go along, I'll explain that again. It's a little bit confusing. So on the first day of the year that we are looking at, the current year, we will go and debit the membership fees and credit accrued income, and we will debit membership fees received in advance and credit membership fees. Those are called reverse entries. On the first day of the current year that we are looking at, we're going to do reverse entries. So these are the transactions that get recorded in the membership fees account, and we're going to go through an example of each one to complete the membership fees account. Now when you do a question like this, like I said in class, my suggestion is you learn the format or what goes into the membership fees account. And what goes into the membership fees account were those exact transactions in the previous slide that I mentioned. On the first day of the current year, you're going to put in the reverse entries from the previous year. I'll go through examples of each one. There will always be accrued income on the debit side and income received in advance on the credit side on the first day of the new year. Then we're going to have an entry for all the money that is actually collected, the cash from the previous year, the current year, and next year. Because you do receive money when, say, for example, people that were in arrears from the previous year pay us. Members pay us on time on the current year. And then some members actually pay us this year for next year. We will receive all that money. All money received for membership fees must be entered into the membership fees account, even if it was the previous year or it is for next year, and obviously the current year. We are going to have at the end of the year members that haven't paid us for the current year, but we've earned the income. That is accrued income. Then some members from the previous year that were in arrears will end up bad debts. And the balancing figure, or the actual income and expenditure amount, the income amount for membership fees, will be closed off to income and expenditure. My point here is you know what goes into this account. Reverse entries on the first, on the debit side and the credit side. Income received in advance, the adjustment will be on the debit side. Money received will be on the credit side. Accrued income also on the credit side at the end of the year. This account is closed off to income and expenditure, and both the debit and the credit side are totaled. So I'm saying you can learn the format of the membership fees account. Now let's have a look. You get some information with regard to membership fees. 9 times out of 10 you get this information. You get an extract of the general ledger accounts, and it's the balance on the 1st of January. And in this extract will be adjustments from the previous financial year that were done on the 31st of December, the year before 2024, 31st of December 2023. There was an adjustment, accrued income, and income received in advance. On the first day of the new year, which is 1st of January 2024, these two amounts here need to be reversed and put into the membership fees account correctly. I will show you how to do that. Then you get this information. Membership fees, every single question, very similar. They say it's 250 Rand per member per annum. How many members were there? 150. They say 75% of members who were in arrears, so that's 75% of the 2,000. These people accrued income, owing income, they were in arrears. 75% of members who were in arrears at the beginning of the year paid in the current year. The other 25% need to be written off. So 25% of 2,000 needs to be written off, and 75% of the 2,000 we receive. During the current year, 15 new members joined the club and paid their membership dues. 15 new members, they paid us. As you do this more and more, this information, you'll remember it better and better. The numbers will change, but you know what you're going to be getting. On the last day of the financial year, 2024, 7 members had paid for 2025. That's income received in advance. And then point number 6, membership fees received for the current year total 37,000. So this is the information you provided with. Now you're going to have to complete the membership fees account. So the first thing you do is you deal with the adjustments from the previous year. And accrued income, this AI in black stands for accrued income. Accrued income has a debit balance because it was an increase in assets. It needs to be closed off, reversed. So we're doing reverse entries. The adjustment from the previous year needs to be entered into the current year. And how we do that is we go and, because this had a debit balance, we credit accrued income and we debit membership fees with 2,000. We're bringing that owing income from the previous year into the current year. And we're going to see if we receive the money or if it was bad. And we do that by crediting accrued income. More importantly, we debit membership fees. So it will look like this. Membership fees, the first reverse entry. From the adjustment the previous year, owing income from the previous year is now brought into the current year. And we will see what happens with that $2,000. That was outstanding membership fees, 2,000 from the previous year. The next adjustment is income received in advance. Income received in advance, here it is, scribbled in black over there. Income received in advance had a credit balance of 1,250. I need to bring this income received in advance into the current year in the membership fees account. So we debit income received in advance and we credit membership fees. And it looks like this. So the 1,250 is income received in advance. These amounts here now have been brought into the current year, the current membership fees account. This was our outstanding money from last year, and this is actually income for this year, the 1,250, because last year members paid us early for the current year. So that's reverse entries. Now, back to our information. At the beginning of the financial year, and for the whole of the previous year, the club had 150 members. So it's always nice to know how many members we have. We had 150 members, so we start making a list of how many members we have. Then they tell us that 25% of the outstanding, the owing money from last year, members owed us from last year, accrued income, of that 2,000, 25% must be written off. We've already done a reverse entry to put this 2,000 into the membership fees account. So the bad debt is 25% of 2,000. Says 25% of 2,000. And 25% of 2,000 is equal to 500. The membership fees for each member was 250 Rand. So 500 divided by 250 is 2 members. And we'll see there are new members, and then we'll get a total for the members. But let's just record this bad debt. The bad debt is 25% of 2,000, which is equal to 500. Now remember, the entry will be debit bad debts and credit membership fees. So now we're completing this account. Membership fees is credited and the amount is 500. Now remember, what we're doing is we are accounting for the owing money from the previous year. 500 of that amount is being written off. 2 members were insolvent. So we're actually, your debits must equal your credits. We're going to sort out that 2,000. 500 of the 2,000 was bad debts. So this isn't an increase in income. It's actually cancelling out outstanding or behind members. So 2 of them are not actually going to ever pay us. Right, 15 new members joined the club. So now we have members at the beginning of the year, 150 they told us. There it is. 2 members now have gone insolvent. There were 15 new members, and that gives us now 163 members. What was the membership fee? I think the membership fee was 250. So that is actually the income that we should earn for the year. 163 multiplied by 250. And the income that we earn, whether we've received it or not, gets closed off to income and expenditure. So I can actually put this in here. The membership fees, which is the income of the club, gets closed off to an account called income and expenditure. That's why under details, there's income and expenditure. And the amount is the number of members multiplied by the membership fee, which is 250. That's 40,750. So now we got reverse entries, we got the bad debts, and we got the number of members that we have for the current year, and the income that we have earned for the current year. Not necessarily received, but we should earn income of 40,750 because we've got 163 members. And we calculated that by saying we had 150 members minus the 2 that went bad plus the 15 that joined. Makes it 163. So that's how that amount is calculated. Now what we need to do, there are a couple of transactions here. It says on the 31st of December, 7 members had paid their fees for next year. We're on the 31st of December, that is year end. 7 members have actually paid us for 2025. So that is income received in advance, and we need to do an adjustment. So it will be 7 times by 250. There it is. 7 times by 250. And they've joined the club and they've paid us. Right? So our bank balance will increase by the 7 times by the 250. Now, number 3, also our bank from 2023, 75% of those who were in arrears, accrued income, those that were owing us money, paid us. Because there it says 75% of the members who were in arrears at the beginning of the year paid us. Remember, we've already written off the bad debt of 25%, but 75% paid us, and that is 1,500. So we received money from 2023, those that owed us. We have received money in 2024 for bank, right? 1,750. We received the money, even though it relates to 2025. and they tell us 37,000 Rand was received in the current year. So what I'm doing is I'm working out the bank amount, debit bank, credit, membership fees. We received 1,500 plus 1,750, the new members, the members that owed us from last year, and the current members, 37,000. That is how much has gone into our bank account in the current year for membership fees. But 1,750 relates to 2025. You're going to have to watch this a few times, and you're going to have to practice a few to get this right. So what I've just been saying gets entered into the membership fees account like this. The income received in advance for 2025, membership fees must get debited because this money is actually only earned in 2025. So it can't be in the current year. It's income received in advance. I have to debit membership fees. The bank amount comes to 40,250, which consists of, and in your exam, I want you to write the years. This was 23, 24, 25. The amount from 23, remember it was 75% of the 2,000 outstanding from the previous year. Then in 24 there were the 7 new members, and then in the current year there was 37,000 received according to the additional information. Then there was money received which relates to 2025, but we need to record all the money that we received in the current year, and it comes to 40,250. You can go back to the previous slide and see the breakdown of what related to 23, what relates to 24, and what relates to 25. But we received all the amounts for each of these years in the current year, so it should be recorded. Then we do an adjustment if it was received in advance. And we've already done that one. 40,750, it was the number of members times by the membership fees. Now what we're left with here is this number to figure out. And accrued income is equal to 40,750 minus the 1,250 minus the cash received in the current year, 37,000. That will give us accrued income of 2,500. Now I mentioned in class you can solve for this accrued income by completing this account, because if you said 2,000 plus 1,750 plus the 40,750 is equal to 44,500. The left hand side is equal to the right side, the right hand side. So this must also equal to 44,500. And if I say 44,500 minus 500 minus the bank amount minus the income received in advance, you're going to get 2,500. Then you would have completed this membership fees account. Now I'm going to explain that accrued income again if you want to do it in a different way. The accrued income, the final amount in the membership fees account. So what is the accrued income amount? Now this 40,750 is the income earned for the current year. What makes up the income earned for the current year? It is the accrued income, which means money, income, membership fees that we have earned but not yet received, right? That is the definition of accrued income. We've earned it from members, but they haven't paid us. So whatever we've earned in the current year, we need to record as income to truly reflect the membership fees income amount. We can add the cash received for the current year, and then, this is important, the income received in advance from last year, because we are actually only earning it this year, in the current year. So if we add the accrued income plus, we don't know accrued income yet, but I'm giving you an equation to solve for accrued income. Accrued income plus the cash received this year, plus the income received in advance from last year, which is an adjustment from last year. The income received in advance from last year is equal to the income earned for the current year. And we know what the income earned for the current year is, because it's our number of members multiplied by 250 is 40,750. Now if I make accrued income the subject of the formula, accrued income is the total income earned minus the cash received minus the income received in advance from the previous year, because it has now become current, and that is equal to 2,500. So that is another way of explaining how to calculate accrued income. If you go back in the video, you can also solve for accrued income by completing the general ledger account. So there it is, accrued income 2,500, and I just calculated it like that. I said the 40,750 minus the 1,750 minus the 37,000, which is included in this amount, but this is the cash for the current year, is equal to 2,500. Otherwise, if you got all these other numbers here, that and that and that, you can solve, because this is the missing number, for accrued income. So there are two ways. You develop your own methods as you practice. But this here is the membership fees account, which is very important for this section. It's a nominal account. It's an income account. I'm going to run through it quickly. Here you've got accrued income, which is a reverse entry from the previous year. We were given balances, and you need to do reverse entries. So is income received in advance, and you bring both those two numbers back into the current year that we are looking at. Then there's income received in advance. So we're in 2024. We're doing this account at the end of the year. Some members paid us for actually 2025. We need to record it. We haven't actually earned it. That's why we debit membership fees. Decrease in income. Then there's money received for the current year. There's money received from outstanding monies from the previous year, and there's money received in advance, and that makes up 40,250. This number I calculated by getting the number of members. The number of members, they will tell you. Started with 150, or we got 150. 2 were bad, 15 joined. That's 163 members multiplied by the monthly, not the monthly, the yearly membership fee. Gives you the actual income that you've earned for the year. Then there will be this number that needs to be calculated, but first of all I would calculate the bad debts. They give you the information. Bad debts, they will say, is a percentage of what was owing from the previous year. You calculate the amount, and then you can solve the puzzle by calculating the accrued income, either this way or by completing this account by totaling up this side. The two sides must equal. Then you say 44,500 minus 500 minus the bank amount minus income received in advance is going to give you 2,500. Or you can do the income earned for the current year minus the income received in advance less the 37,000. There's a little error here. I'm going to say that again. There, the accrued income. Let me rub this out quickly. Accrued income is equal to the income earned, right? 163 members times by 250 less 1250, which is the income received in advance from the previous year, the adjustment, less the cash for the current year that you received, is equal to 2,500. So let's quickly punch that into the calculator. 40,750 minus 1250 minus 37,000 equals 2,500. So we are taking the income received in advance from the reverse entry from the previous month. Sorry, not that one, right? That is the income received in advance that relates to next year. This takes a little bit of practice. You're going to have to watch this video quite a few times. This is what quiz 2 is all about, to prepare you for your exam. This is an exam question, membership fees account. So all the best for quiz 2 on the membership fees account. We will see you soon. Work hard.